Wendy Williams continues her fight to end her guardianship and leave the memory care unit she has been placed in for the past 8 months. Earlier this week, Wendy threw a note asking for help out of her window. The police were sent to do a welfare check, and it ultimately led to Williams being escorted to an outside hospital for an evaluation. Now, as the fight continues to get her moved to a less restrictive facility, many fans are saying it's giving off Free Britney vibes. Keep reading to get all the details. Is Wendy Williams' case giving off Free Britney vibes? Talk show host Wendy Williams has been under legal guardianship since 2022. In 2023, she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, which she will also be retested for sometime soon. Wendy, along with her family, claim she is not incapacitated and should not be locked in the memory unit of this facility. Her trip to the hospital this week followed a case being opened regarding how the facility treats her. Adult Protective Services has launched an investigation into the claims. While at the hospital, doctors evaluated Wendy, which she says she passed with flying colors. Following the evaluations, her guardian wanted her transported back to the facility she lives in, but Wendy refused to go. The hospital ended up keeping her there all night. The following day, she did go back to the senior facility. Her niece was there with her and decided to take Wendy out to dinner. While Williams's guardian says she can leave with family if she desires, the facility called the police, claiming her niece broke the law by taking her out of the memory unit. Fans are growing more and more concerned, and many are feeling Free Britney vibes. Of course, fans are referring to the conservatorship Britney Spears was under for nearly 13 years. Some fans argue it's not the same at all and Wendy needs more help than she is willing to admit. What are fans saying? Fans are speaking out about Wendy Williams as her case continues to get attention. She and her family are fighting to get her moved to a different facility, claiming where she is now is more like a prison. They will not allow cell phones in the memory unit. Wendy only has a landline and cannot receive incoming calls. She also is not free to come and go as she pleases. Her family argues this is not necessary. As the fight for Wendy's freedom continues, some fans think it's giving Free Britney vibes, while others say it's completely different. One fan compared the two situations, saying that it's not the same as Britney Spears' conservatorship. Here are some comments from fans. I think there's more to this than just Free Wendy. Her rights and freedom shouldn't be denied, but she clearly needs more help than she realizes or is willing to admit. It's reckless for people to push this Free Wendy movement without fully understanding her situation. I'm a huge Britney fan and fully support the Free Britney movement, but there's a major difference. Britney was actively working against her while touring the world, selling out Vegas, making albums, and appearing on shows, all while under conservatorship for 13 years. Free Britney is not Free Wendy. She was caught drinking at her facility a few weeks ago. She clearly still has a problem. Wendy Williams. Many feel if Wendy gets her freedom and then something bad happens to her, then everyone will be outraged and looking for someone to blame. What do you think about Wendy's situation? Do you think there is more to it than the public's fight to end guardianship intensifies as fans draw Free Britney parallels? Wendy Williams, the once unstoppable force of daytime television, is locked in a fierce battle to reclaim her independence, 8 months after being placed in a memory care unit under a court-ordered guardianship. Earlier this week, the 60-year-old talk show icon made headlines when she tossed a handwritten note pleading for help out of her window at the New York City assisted living facility where she resides. The desperate act triggered a swift response. Police conducted a welfare check, and Williams was escorted to an outside hospital for evaluation. Now, as her struggle to escape what she calls a luxury prison continues, fans are buzzing with comparisons to Britney Spears' 13-year conservatorship ordeal, with some dubbing it a Free Wendy moment, though not everyone agrees. Here's the full story unfolding as of March 29, 2025. Williams's legal saga began in 2022 when Wells Fargo, her bank, petitioned for a guardianship, citing concerns of financial exploitation and cognitive decline. In 2023, her care team announced diagnoses of frontotemporal dementia, FTD, and primary progressive aphasia, conditions that affect behavior, cognition, and communication. Since then, Williams has been confined to the memory care unit of a high-end facility, a move her court-appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, has defended as necessary for her safety. But Williams and her family vehemently dispute the narrative of incapacity, insisting she's mentally sharp and doesn't belong in such a restrictive environment. This week's dramatic events have only fueled their fight and amplified public attention. The incident began when Williams flung a note reading, "Help! Wendy!" from her window, a cry that echoed through the media and prompted immediate action. New York police arrived at the facility on West 35th Street around 11:16 a.m. on Monday, according to reports, finding Williams in no immediate danger but staying on scene as EMTs arrived. Video footage from TMZ captured her walking arm in arm with an officer to an ambulance, destined for Lenox Hill Hospital for an independent cognitive evaluation. Williams later claimed she aced the tests, telling The View in a phone interview on Friday, "It was my choice to get an independent evaluation on my incapacitation, which I don't have." Her defiance was palpable as she demanded an end to the guardianship, saying, "I need them to get off my neck," a pointed jab at Morrissey and the judge overseeing her case. The hospital visit took a tense turn when Morrissey sought to have Williams return to the facility that same day. Williams refused, and the hospital kept her overnight, a small victory in her quest for autonomy. The next day, however, she was back at the facility, where her niece, Alex Finney, was waiting. Finney, a vocal advocate for her aunt, took Williams out to dinner, a rare outing that sparked yet another clash. The facility called police, alleging Finney had evaded staff and broken protocol by removing Williams from the locked memory unit. Morrissey, however, has maintained there are no restrictions on Williams leaving with family, a claim that contradicts Williams's own accounts of isolation. The conflicting narratives have only deepened the mystery, and the Outrage Services, APS, has now stepped in, launching an investigation into Williams's treatment at the facility, spurred by her family's complaints and the public spectacle of her plea for help. Williams has described her living conditions as suffocating. No cell phones are allowed in the memory unit, she relies on a landline that can't receive incoming calls, and she's surrounded by residents in their 80s and 90s with severe cognitive impairments. "I don't belong here at all. This is ridiculous," she told Nightline in February, a sentiment she's repeated in recent interviews. Her family argues these restrictions are excessive, painting the facility as more prison than care home, a comparison that struck a chord with fans. The "Free Britney" parallels are impossible to ignore. Spears' conservatorship, which ended in 2021 after a global fan movement, saw her stripped of personal and financial control while still performing at peak capacity. Williams's supporters see similarities in her isolation and lack of agency, with some taking to X to rally under #FreeWendy. "She's being held hostage, just like Britney was," one fan posted. "No one should be cut off from their family like this." Others point to Williams's articulate public statements, like her View appearance, as proof she's not the incapacitated figure her guardian claims. The vibe is undeniable for some. A celebrity trapped by a legal system meant to protect her, echoing Spears' years-long fight. But not all fans are on board with the comparison. "I'm a huge Britney fan and fully support Free Britney, but there's a major difference," one commenter wrote online. Britney was working against her will, touring, recording, performing, while under conservatorship for 13 years. Wendy's not in that boat. She was caught drinking at her facility a few weeks ago. She clearly still has a problem. Another cautioned, "There's more to this than just Free Wendy. Her rights shouldn't be denied, but she might need more help than she realizes." Pushing this movement without the full story is reckless. The divide reflects a broader tension. Is Williams a victim of overreach, or does her health, complicated by past struggles with alcohol and Graves' disease, justify the guardianship? Williams's own words fuel the debate. She's been candid about her frustrations, telling The Breakfast Club in January, "I'm not cognitively impaired, but I feel like I am in prison." Her family, including Finney and sister Wanda, have rallied behind her, with Finney recently retaining legal counsel to challenge the guardianship. A GoFundMe campaign, Support Wendy Williams's Fight for Independence, has also emerged to fund her legal efforts. Meanwhile, Morrissey's team has doubled down, citing court documents from November 2024 that label Williams permanently incapacitated due to FTD, a diagnosis Williams disputes and plans to retest for soon, bolstered by her recent hospital results. As the saga unfolds, questions linger. Is there more to Williams's situation than the public knows? If she wins her freedom and falters, whether through health setbacks or otherwise, will the same fans now championing her cause turn to blame others? For now, Williams remains defiant, clinging to symbols of her past glory, like her iconic purple chair, still in storage, which she vows to keep for my life. What do you think? Does her case mirror Britney's, or is it a different beast entirely? Share your thoughts below.